Do you think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it. There is an unbelievable hatred of us.
In Islam itself?
You're going to have to figure that out, okay? You'll get another Pulitzer, right? But you.
Well, President Trump is not wrong at all. Just from those few words, we know he has read some, at least, of a certain book, or at least got excellent advice of a certain book. You will be shocked to find, I think, you American guys, that President Trump, amongst probably the majority of people in the UK, certainly 70% of people, 60-70% of people, is actually very popular. We wish we could have him over here. It's straight talking, no bullshit, no nonsense approach, stating a spade as a spade and a terrorist a terrorist. This is what we've been sadly lacking in Britain for years, and Europe even more so. I mean, you've seen how they're bent over backwards to try and be kind and left-wing and bring all these poor people, these poor victims, these refugees in, and they all detest us. The whole ideology detests us from 627 AD. And furthermore, on this fake news thing, how many of you actually believe him wholeheartedly about this fake news? I think the vast majority of people, even the lefties, have got to admit that we've been led down the river. We've been led down the river by the BBC, the CNN, and all the rest of them. If you put in Britain First, which some of you guys in America won't have heard of, it's a very small political party. You know, it's right-wing, flag-waving, quite patriotic, believes in Christian values, but you don't have to be Christian to be in it. You know, it's just saying that Christianity has been a bloody good influence on the West for the last bloody 2,000 years. And I don't think anyone living in the West, looking at the East, would disagree with them. Would you? No? No. Rights for gays, rights for women, rights for children. I mean, the Middle East and Far East have got nothing like this. It just doesn't exist. This is British fake news. I've done a couple of videos about these before, and they've been took off. Oh, we're very sensitive, the old BBC, about being called fake news, because they are, basically. Go, by all means, have a go on this. Click on this, Britain First, most dangerous far-right party. Well, the far-right, if you can call it that, they are slightly right, but I don't think you can really call them far-right. They're certainly not in the same league as the Nazis that call themselves Antifa. You know, that are banned in the US, that are banned as domestic terrorists, because they are. And they are in Europe as well. But Antifa is widespread in Europe, and it reaches deeply, deeply into social media, certainly. Just the other day, I support both Tommy Robinson, who was tortured by the UK government recently. You know, old Tommy, that's his picture there. Yeah, I support Tommy Robinson for certain, and I have done for many, many years. I'll have, about 8 years I've been posting this stuff, and subsequently having channels took off, Facebook's wiped, because it's seen as being, it's not the accepted narrative to speak the truth about the religion of peace. The religion of peace that's killed 250 million people, that's some sort of religion of peace, that, isn't it? But it's doing beaver hacking all over the USA, UK, that's what you call it, isn't it, beavers, in slang. Beaver hacking with razor blades on innocent little Muslim girls, Islamic girls, all over the world. And if you try and mention it, no, Bill, we don't do that. We only do it in Africa. We don't do that in Egypt and Cairo and Lebanon and Syria and Iraq and Iran and, Yemen. Yes, you do. Saudi Arabia, they used to send the girls over to the UK. They probably still are. They used to actually, these rich Arabs used to send the little girls over by aeroplane to have their genitals cut away in London. I mean, I bet they're still doing it, reading between the lines. But regarding terrorism and perceptions of truth, the CNN and the far right will always call people like Tommy. I read the other day, actually, in the Daily Mail, the Sado Daily Mail, he confronted him in Tenerife, which is the Canary Isles, hot islands, holiday spot off the coast of Africa. I've been there. It's very nice, very hot. And Tommy Robinson confronted this guy, whose name's just come out today, his true name. And he basically, this guy from the Daily Mail could not justify why, but for years they've called this man, this Tommy Robinson, a racist, a fascist, far right, a thug. Let's look at the record, shall we? We've got Tommy Robinson here. He self-admitted he was with the Luton Football Club, and he's had a few. He's only a little fella. I've met him very briefly in Manchester. He's only about 5'5". He's not a big fella, but he's got a big character. Put it that way. He's got a big, brave character. Probably because of his Christian upbringing, I wouldn't like to say. But either way, he's an honest guy. He's got a family. He's got a few pounds, dollars for his own efforts, and good luck to him on that. You know, I'm not such a bloody Nazi or a bloody communist. I think we should take his businesses off him when he's done it for his own efforts. And also we've got the other gang of the far right. Britain First. I was speaking to this guy. This is Paul Golding. He's from London. When he was in his youth, it's quite interesting really. When he was in his youth, he was, I'd say, pretty good in the ring. He used to do this mixed MMA, mixed martial arts. And I've posted videos of that a few times. Now, of course, it's been took off because it doesn't quite fit the narrative of this, you know, far right, you know, uncivilized, beer swilling, low class people. He's doing a lot in Northern Ireland at the moment. I've met a couple of these guys. Met Paul, met him briefly. We're just doing activities. I've met Jada, spoke to Jada a couple of times. Poor Jada, as Paul, has been locked up for, oh yeah, real hateful offence. The hateful offence these pair got locked up for, guess what? Was shouting a few words of abuse, calling a dirty rapist of a 16-year-old virgin, for mentioning the word, you dirty something, bar steward. I didn't swear. Bar steward. Yeah, for using these bar steward words through a letterbox at the rapist's house, they threw her in jail for hate speech. But the guy she was shouting at had gang raped a bloody 16-year-old girl, kept her captive 2 or 3 hours above a kebab house. Him and his 3 mates, migrants, illegals, a fake child refugee and an Afghan asylum seeker, had been raping a 16-year-old kid. And we know from experience in the UK, once you catch them at it, when the police finally do anything about it, you can guarantee there's been about 40 girls pregnant, battered. There's been a few gone missing permanently as well, from these migrants. So basically, these are the far right, the Nazis, the nasty, racist, potential terrorist killers, I guess. This is what the BBC narrative says. It really does. It, and this one, it mixes in. It's got that guy whose wife has put makeup on him. It's not a tattoo. It's a flag, an England flag, which makes him look like a thug, I think. So they've used that as the picture. And periodically in this video, you will see the Union Jacks being swapped completely for Red Cross England St George flags, Red Cross flags. And on some of them, you will see EDL. This is ancient footage from Tommy Robinson's old EDL years ago. And they did have a bit of a bad name for being hooligans and that. But, you know, they were angry. They were angry at all their kids being raped and still being raped. This is the sickening thing about it. So, let's see how many... So, forgetting about fake news BBC. So, here we go. Trump retweeted Jada Franson. You can see her. Put in Jada Franson confronts in YouTube, and you can see her shouting at some for weirdos, for these migrant weirdos, and he was the cameraman. Say good old Paul, who I've met. So what sort of wicked evil have these guys been involved in? It's roughly 10 years they've been involved, both of them. Tommy Robson's been in it. I think it's over 10 years. He ran EDL, and that was, you know, he's got his own thing going, Tommy Robinson Online. So let's see, how many bombs has Tommy planted? How many teenagers has he attacked? How many people has he knocked down with lorries, trucks? How many, obviously, he's not done any suicide bombs, we wouldn't be here. Well, basically, the grand total of serious criminal offences not related to his activities exposing grooming gangs, the list of terrorist and potentially terrorist offences that Tommy has committed is nil. Yes? Zilch. nil, big O. He has never made a plot to attack anyone. He's never been done for racism. He's never been done for hate speech as such. He was falsely imprisoned recently for daring to shout, daring to ask some questions of some a group of 27 paedophiles who were attacking 11 to 17-year-old girls from 11 years of age. And of course, very disrespectful. They were insulting his mother, and they falsely jailed him. So we've established there, and you can look into it yourself. He punched somebody in jail once who was going to attack him. He's done a couple of little things, but he's never been involved in any racism, never any hate or terrorism at all. And likewise, ex-kickboxer Paul and fully qualified lawyer. Yeah, lawyer. She passed a law degree, for God's sake, so she ain't no dummy. She could be a lawyer, but this is more important to her, and she's right. She's far better at doing this. She's become an icon, basically. She's so outspoken, so brave, and she calls a spade, like Mr. Trump. So no wonder he retweeted it. So as I say, we've established, sorry to go on, but we've established just in a couple of minutes, that these two and Tommy Robinson have not committed any serious criminal offences for many, many years, probably over 10 years. Well, how many terrorist attacks has the Religion of Peace conducted in the last 10 years? Well, this only goes from 2014 to present. So, there you go. It's only 4 years, but France has certainly been the worst hit, I would say. But the fatality list is way up into the hundreds already. As we'll say here, 2014, you can just look at the flags, basically. Look at those flags there. Yeah. Tours, France, Nice, Copenhagen, France, Berlin, Paris, Marseille, Istanbul, Hanover, Istanbul, Brussels, Magnaville, France, Istanbul, Nice, France, Würzburg, Ansbach, been there. Belgium, Moscow, and there we go, that's 1 year. Oh no, we're still here we are, in 2017 now. 2017 was a very bad year. Suicide bomber there's a suicide bomb at Manchester. Well, I actually know someone who attended that, and she's still under treatment from the doctor. She's still having nightmares, won't leave the house. It's just ruined her life, basically, at 15. I hope she gets better. There's a video coming about that. I can summon the courage up. London, Paris, France, just go down the list. But Google it yourself. EU terrorist offences. Turku, Finland, London, all of them. 2018, it's not been so bad so far this year, but I mean, there's plenty of months to go. Ramadan, the Prophet's birthday is when they like to do it. They celebrate the Prophet's birthday, in the Middle East at least, by killing thousands of the opposite tribe. Yes, to prove what good warlords they are, like the Prophet. So, 2018 is quite a few. And you've got to say, I mean, Theresa May's attitude and the police's attitude towards jihad is just completely wrong. They think it's going to stop. It's not going to stop. Jihad hasn't stopped since 627 AD. These people believe in this deeply. They're brought up to think they're the master race, work dirty kuffar. It's never going to stop. So until you put your foot down and start dragging these people out of the population and interning them, internally suspect, or just getting them out of the country, I don't care what you do.